It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
Tim Ballard is a former federal agent on a mission to end human trafficking around the world. His Operation Underground Railroad has helped to rescue 6,000 survivors and arrest more than 5,000 perpetrators. Jim Caviezel stars in Sound of Freedom, the new movie about Tim Ballard's real life. Ephraim Graham sat down with Ballard for a closer look at the true story behind the movie.
We intentionally go to the darkest corners of the earth where there is no hope and find these kids.
Cameras capture some of Tim Ballard's real-life missions to rescue children from sex trafficking. And now there's an even bigger light shining in the darkness.
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
The Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel.
Timoteo, tú rescatas niños, ¿verdad? ¿Puedes ayudarme a encontrar mi hermana?
Te lo prometo.
Jim Caviezel portrays you in the film. Your thoughts seeing him on screen as you for the first time?
Well, it's really bizarre, first of all, to watch it. But Jim is a special case because I never thought this movie was going to be made, because from concept to screen, I think I read 5% make it to the big screen.
Yeah.
Like a few years into their endeavor, I remember they showed up in, I believe it was December of 2017, and they said, hey, we're going to film this summer, and we need to pick someone to play you, which I never let my mind go to that place, because that's a strange question. Right out of the gate, I knew who I wanted. So well, if this is a real question, the answer is Jim Caviezel. And I was so adamant. And I said to them, look, I don't like Hollywood. I don't trust Hollywood. I don't know these actors. I know Jim Caviezel loves Jesus. And that's the only real requirement I have. It was like 4 days. They asked him, they skipped his agents right to him. And he had a really personal experience himself with human trafficking, and we didn't know about it. He jumped right in, and he's one of my best friends today. We're super close and talking all the time, and because he cares deeply.
How long have you been doing this?
12 years now.
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
Take me back, I guess, to that period of your life. What was going through your heart as this is all unfolding?
There was a strange time during that really decade of working in the government, because we were discovering things, and sometimes I felt I was discovering things alone, because nobody was talking about human trafficking, and I would tell people these stories of the things I was coming across, and no one believed me, And the most frustrating part for me was, in the U.S. government, early 2000s, we were focused on the end user stuff.
Yeah.
The child exploitation material hitting someone's computer, but you keep asking the question, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Where are the kids? Jim Caviezel says a line in the movie that so represents how I felt, when it's like, this job tears you to pieces, and I need a chance to put those pieces back together.
This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
And really, it was my wife who, because I could have been convinced that my own family was more important than someone else's, which is not true. But I could have been convinced that I can't afford to quit my job. And ultimately, it came down to a conversation I had with my wife in the second week of December of 2013, I was being, even though I'd had many very, very powerful spiritual experiences, both of us, that we had to do this, we had to quit, we had to pursue these operations. And I was so scared because I just come across these stats, you know, and one of them was 5% of nonprofits don't make it through the first year. Less than 3% make it through the second year. And you compare that to a federal job, which is secure for your life.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out, and my wife had to remind me, and she did it in a very powerful way, and she grabbed me by the collars, and she said, "I will not let you jeopardize my salvation," she said, "by not doing this." And it was just like,
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
Which means she'll disappear for good. Imagine walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What we do?
You quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
when she said that, that's when I really put it into perspective. You're right. Why are we here on this earth? Like, we're not here just to have fun or just live a life of ease and luxury or something. Like, and she followed up that little warning statement with, and if we end up living in tents because we have to sell our house, I don't care, because I'm more worried about my meeting with my maker. And so that was my wife's, lesson to me. And I was like, you're right. So I leaned on her until I figured out my own faith, and then we jumped in.
Since leaving his Homeland Security job, Ballard's Operation Underground Railroad organization has rescued at least 6,000 children from modern-day slavery. He and his wife have even adopted 2 of them, growing their family of 7 to a family of 9.
God prospered us in the end, and as dark as the world got, I recognized for the first time, being outside the government, that there's a lot of light too that comes.
I have seen this film, and it is a phenomenal action thriller, but beyond that, of course, is to inform us of what's going on, and it can be gut-wrenching to watch, but it's worth it. It's worth it to participate and understand what's going on and understand God's love for these innocent children who are taken. Sound of Freedom opens in theaters Monday.